It has been months since we played. I am running a Greek-inspired fantasy setting where the players are demigods. I am using a superhero RPG rule set called Prowlers and Paragons. The game uses a simple mechanic with 6-sided dice. Evens equal 1 success, 6s count as 2. This is important for the story. The characters and their powers do not matter. I was excited for the game. This was the first time in months everyone could show up to the same game. I wanted to make it special. So before the game, I foolishly asked the group the following questions to generate enthusiasm for the game. Audiences are walking out of your movie. What's the one scene they're all talking about? How can I create it in an upcoming session? What do you want to see? Email me. I like to think of my games as action movies. There's a plot, but it is mostly there to provide a connecting thread to the action scenes I plan out. I create opportunities for the players to highlight their abilities and stand out. I enjoy memorable scenes involving creative use of abilities and powers. However, 2 jokers in the group tap their inner Danny McBride and respond with, "Big-ass titties!" I ignored it and figured they were expressing their inner teenager. Mind you, my group ranges in ages between 30 and 53. For the next week, no one gives me a legitimate good scene for the game, and they continue their relentless barrage via text. So finally, I responded. Zim zim zalabim, your wishes have been locked in. Skedaddle skedoodle, your boss fight's now giant titty monster. Next, the players start the game in a village at the center of a rich, wheat-producing valley, the breadbasket of the realm. The villagers reveal that their crops are dying, and the cattle has begun to disappear. There are rumors of beasts fouling the land. As they further investigate, they arrive at a farm, reeking of death and putrid gas. The gods have unleashed Ketobelpas, and they are killing everything with their noxious cloud. The heroes defeat the first wave and follow the trail to a giant barn, emitting a deep guttural moan from inside. The roof bursts, the walls explode, and the heroes come face to face with the cursed creature corrupting the cattle of the land. As it stands, a cow hangs from each breast, feeding on its corrupting milk. A player yells, "Big-ass titties!" and the game devolves from there. The heroes continue investigating the source of this foul beast and find an evil demigod hiding in a forest. She intends to corrupt all life. But first, they must battle Arachne, the multi-breasted spider queen. And from each of her breasts feeds the earlier creature they encountered. It was not my finest moment, but I did create a number of scenes involving nauseous, corrupting milk, and one attempt to grab a hero and force him to feed on the foul nectar of a god. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's like that scene from Barbarian. I'm not putting a picture here. Obviously, if you know the scene, I'm not trying to get demonetized, but it was pretty, it's bad. Great movie, highly recommend. Back to the story. Ingeniously, he spends a point of resolve, think of Benny to alter his scene, and, as he puts it, nopes himself out of the attempt. In the end, the heroes continue talking about the game and make big-ass titties their battle cry. Oh, and one of the players printed out dice to commemorate the game. Where 2 equals 1 and 3 equals 2. I hate them. But now I have a new memorable gaming story around the table. I commend this DM's ability to take a cringy comment and turn it into an actual horror story. This monster sounds like absolute nightmare fuel, like a spider-themed brood mother from Dragon Age Origins. Definitely not for everyone's games, but sure as hell fitting for Spooktober. But the spooky, scary stories don't end just yet, as there is no horror story more terrifying than being a girl who's into gaming. From creeps who flirt with you in and out of game while you're just trying to hang out, to gatekeepers who pretend women were never interested in nerdy hobbies and only do it for clout. When it comes to creeps like this, I don't think the ladies have it easy. And in this story, we find a DM who believes women can't even be trusted to roll their own dice. So, without further ado, we discuss whether women do be shopping for dice, as we gather up a murder and dive right into this story. Let me start by saying, I know it sounds like I am in the wrong. That he must have a reason to think I am lying about my rolls, so I can succeed or something. But I truly have no idea why he even thinks that I am. Because, I swear, I have never lied about a roll before. So basically, I'm the only girl, 20 female, in my current D&D campaign. But I don't really mind or feel uncomfortable about it, since all the guys I play with have been nothing but welcoming and chill towards me. They don't even treat me any differently, and are a great group of guys. My only grievance is that the DM has made comments since I started playing, with them being about how every female he has ever played with before always lie about their dice rolls so they can impress all the guys and look better / hotter in their eyes. Which is a super weird thing to bring up in my opinion. I had just started, and had shown no signs of lying about anything, so I was already kind of weirded out that he felt the need to bring it up or whatever. I kinda just brushed it off, and said I'd played before, and that I don't fake dice rolls because that ruins the experience, and the risk of the game, and my actions, which ruins the game for me and everyone else. DM seemed to accept that, and let it go at the time. However, I have noticed that at least once per session, he will make some comment along the lines of how females just lie all the time. It's what they're biologically good at, and they all lie in games like this to look sexy to the men there. No one at the table really responds when he makes these comments. One of the guys tried once earlier on to mention that that was a sexist and off-topic thing to bring up, but the DM got mad at being cut off from sharing his personal life experiences and knowledge, so no one has spoken up about it since. This last session was probably the most risky and dangerous situation the party has been in since the start of the campaign. And there were a few times where I had to roll, and lives were on the line if I failed. Somehow, I managed to get at least the bare minimum I needed to succeed. Needed a 15 or higher in most cases, since I usually had advantages. Everyone else was having similar luck though, so I was just hyped to see we were rolling lucky that night. I did also have plenty of horrible rolls. Got 2 nat 1s in a row at one point. So it wasn't as if I was only rolling successes the whole session. But the DM seemed to be getting frustrated, more and more with each successful roll I announced. He made a comment that I thought at the time was a joke. He chuckled, and said it was almost like I was faking it to win, with how good my luck was. I had been rolling in front of me, where everyone could see through, so nothing was hidden. I didn't think this was any concern that I was cheating, so I just laughed, and said that yeah, my luck was wild tonight. Then at the end of the session, the DM said I had one more save to get us out of there, avoiding another fight that would probably end badly for us. I needed a nat 20, or I would fail. One of my party members assisted, so I had advantage. But the odds of success were still low. I rolled both dice, and by some miracle, I did it. I rolled a nat 20 on both dice. It was glorious, and everyone was super hyped. The DM just looked mad though, and we all joked that he wanted us to fail so he could show off some more characters he made, and do more of the fun combat stuff. He kinda chuckled, and said it was something like that. The session ended calmly, with us getting back to our keep and getting set up to rest. Then we called it a night. Everyone packed up and we went our separate ways, assuming that was the end for that night. I got a message though, 2 hours later from the DM, and he was telling me he knows I cheated and lied about my dice rolls to look better in front of the guys. He said he was nice enough to not call me out there and then, and embarrass me in front of everyone like he should have, but that he could no longer trust me. He demanded that I give him my dice next session, and that from here on out, he will be rolling behind his DM screen for me, since I am proving to be just like every other lying female, and ruining the game for all the honest guys who are playing with me. I was stunned. I didn't know what to say, so I just told him I had never lied, that I was sharing dice with one of the guys, so they aren't some weighted set or anything, and that all of my rolls were in the open where everyone could easily see. That I could understand that he may have had bad experiences in the past with players, but I had done nothing wrong, and would not be letting him roll for my character the rest of the campaign. He has yet to respond, but I am still so set off and insulted that he thought I was cheating or lying. I really like the group I play with, and the campaign is super interesting, so I don't think I'll be quitting. But I certainly am not gonna just sit by and not roll ever again. And I don't know what to do in this situation. Edit. And for those saying he has a crush on me, yeah. He asked me out when I was a freshman in high school, and he was a senior. We were both in the same clubs, and he seemed nice enough to give a chance to him, so I said yes. We only dated for about a month or 2, before he got super possessive and controlling, and I broke it off. He was still super bitter, so I cut him off entirely up until about 2 years ago. We only reconnected because we live in a small town, so we share most of the same friends. He has asked me out 3 times since then, and I have turned him down each time. The last attempt he made at asking me out, I very bluntly told him that if he ever asked me out again, I would cut him out of my life permanently. He seemed to get the message, and has, until this game started, actually been really chill around me, and never pushed my boundaries or said anything creepy. He just acted normally, like all the other guys I'm friends with. Some of the other guys have said they will start to stand up for me in this matter. I screenshotted the conversation I had with DM and sent it to them this morning, and they were all shocked he was acting like that to me. I live in a small town, so this is the only group to play with around me. If I quit this group, I have no idea when/if I will ever be able to play again. And I really do like the other guys in the party, but none of them like to DM. And I am still super new, and I don't really feel comfy trying to DM for the group. The campaign is also like 2/3 of the way done, according to the timeline the DM gave us. So I will probably stick through it for the few sessions we have left, then see if there are online games, I guess, if DM is still acting creepy and like an incel. So we will see in 2 weeks how it goes, when we meet up for the next session. Thanks for all the advice and messages everyone sent me. Honestly, I wouldn't even wait it out until the end of the campaign. The DM is clearly a misogynist, and that won't change anytime soon. At least until he decides to come to grips with the idea that girls can be gamers, and they don't need help from Clara's aim hacks in order to do well in them. The other players seem to be cool with you, so I would suggest having a full-on conversation with them about this. In any case, I wish you luck, and I hope you strongly consider making sure that this guy doesn't end up showing to the next game you guys end up playing. But the gatekeeping continues in our final story, when a visitor to a local game store makes the fatal mistake of telling a group of Warhammer 40k fans that they've never played before. And if you, the poor unfortunate soul that you are, have ever accidentally told anyone this on the internet, surely you know how great it feels to be barraged with pages of lore spewed from their lips straight from the Lexicanum. That's the wiki for Warhammer 40k fans. It sounds like a butchered version of lexicon, which is a Latin word that means, oh flock, now I'm doing it. Anyway, murder, story, 40k, bird up, let's dive in. I was young when this story happened, and new to tabletop. I went to my local game store, looking for more materials for D&D, with some of the money I saved up. I was distracted by this wall of minis. They were for Warhammer 40k. I had never heard of it before, and was interested. I planned to read up on it, and grabbed the box that was in my price range, and looked the most interesting. I settled on Necrons. That's when a group of regulars saw me and called me over. They must have assumed I was already experienced in the game. Before I even introduce myself, they're catching me up on their game, and I'm struggling to even understand what's going on. It was practically a bombardment of names and factions I had no basic understanding of. When they finally finished their long explanation of the past few turns, they asked if I wanted to join into their next game, since they were almost done. I politely informed them I never played before, and the whole mood shifted, as if I had committed a great sin by not already playing Warhammer. But I did tell them I was interested in playing. The youngest looking guy there, still probably 25 through 28 at the youngest, piped up before the rest, and enthusiastically told me I should play Space Marines, and without missing a beat, launched into a ramble about the Imperium's lore. I would compare it to pulling up the Wikipedia article on the Imperium, and hitting shuffle on every paragraph, and playing it at 2 times speed. The rest still watched me suspiciously, like I was an undercover cop who just said, I would like 1 marijuana, please? When he finally finished his speech about how amazing the humans were, I awkwardly said I thought the Necrons were cool, which did not make these guys happy. The idea that someone wasn't playing the Sisters of Battle or Space Marines was absurd to them. The oldest among them speaks up, leaning over his army of sisters. Steve just explained why the Imperium is the best. Why do you want to play the Necrons? They're nowhere near as cool or interesting as the humans. The Horus Heresy alone outclasses anything written for the Necrons. You have read the Horus Heresy, right? This is the exact kind of person as to why I keep railing on 40k fans, even though I myself am a 40k fan. Anyway, back to the story. I had no idea what the hell that even was, and of course told them no. How can you expect to play the games without reading the books? It's like you have no respect for the true fans. I kid you not. He referred to himself and his pals as true fans. I was starting to get a bit upset and honestly a little scared. These guys were a lot bigger than me. I was a short and skinny kid. The oldest guy easily had more than 100 pounds on me. They demanded to see the army I picked out, and handed them the single infantry set I grabbed. They start tearing into me on my bad choice. How this is nowhere near enough for an army. I couldn't even get a word in as these older guys got red in the face. They continued to berate and insult me for not picking Sisters of Battle or Space Marines. How I was disrespecting their craft and that I wasn't welcome to game at their table. I had enough. I left my bag on my chair, told them I don't think this game is for me, and left. I have since never gone back to that game store or played Warhammer. Allow me to approach this delicately and tactfully, using as few insults as possible. Flock every single one of them. This is why nerds were shoved into lockers. As if by Nurgle's rot. If players like this had it their way, the hobby would have decayed into irrelevancy before we even had smartphones. Whew, okay, rant over. Anyway, if you like these stories and would like to see more of them, then please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video. Made it this far? Why not leave a comment? And if you can't think of a comment, then leave the comment Gatekeeper. So that way I know you made it to the end of today's video. But if you want to support the channel even further, then please consider becoming a patron on our Patreon, and join members like our Counts of Quills, like Shar K, Kurito Kazuto, Critical Kunik, Evix, King Drazil, Christian Pimp, Cosmosis, Rikus, Vincent, Haley Thompson, Zero Fang, and Netscape Navigator. Or you could join our legion of gatekeepers on the Barons of Beaks, who spend $5 a month unlike those rubes who pay $3, like ArsTorok, ghostleegon, MrHypocritical, Jayvon Meighan, Jesse Schoedel, KuntosWeasel, MoetisMaou, Chunky Salsa, Tech Blog, Kurestor, Cardespawn, AModestPastry, Jester King, Gintahl, Lord Rende, Gibber-Woods, Wormy, Den of the Drake, McEatley, and of course, Anya. But we can gatekeep even harder, can't we? By spending $10 a month for the Dukes of Feathers, like Kai the Cool One, TheSchoolBus, MirageVaxus, Shirotatsuma, Quinn, TheForgottenDruid, Jarett Suhr, Blues Otters, Jarett Zemlin, Doc Salty96, Matthew Moquini, and Acroth. And with all of that out of the way, I will see you next time as the crow flies.